Hi there, welcome to Drick's room. My name is Drick. I know it's been a little while since we last saw each other. You know, I've really been on the college grind these past few months. And speaking of college, I know that the early deadlines have already passed and a lot of you guys are already starting to have interviews. Most early decisions come out in around a month, so to all you guys who applied early, good luck. We got RD deadlines coming up at the end of the year, so if you didn't apply to any schools early, or even if you did, you've got plenty of time to keep hacking away at your applications. You know, it's definitely a really stressful time, but I was trying to think of something encouraging to say, but I got nothing. I guess you can say that the end is in sight, so you just gotta grind through it. This is definitely a really strange time to be applying to colleges, so big props to all you guys for staying on the grind. Today I want to lead off of something I talked about in my previous video about spikes in college applications. If you haven't seen that video, basically the way I see it, it's generally more feasible to focus on trying to develop a personal theme rather than a spike. Obviously, this is just my opinion and I'm not an admissions officer or anything, but this is the approach I took and it worked for me. Of course, ethos is a double-edged sword and all, and you can't really guarantee anything in this industry. But what I can do is share whatever information, experience, advice I have, and whatever you want to do with it is up to you. Okay? Okay. Alright, so what's up with personal theme? What's the deal? What's the appeal? Whew, that was a rhyme. Do it all the time. I want to eat a lime. I hope you guys stay tuned for when I release my first rap EP. It'll be pretty fire, as the kids say. Anyway, personal theme, personal narrative. I use the terms pretty interchangeably. To me, they're basically the same thing. Essentially, what it boils down to is the message you want to convey to your application readers. The message of who you are and who you want to be, as well as how you'll fit into the school you're applying to. So if we put on our literature hats, we can look at this the same way we would look at a story from a novel. Here you have a narrative, which looks at how the characters develop as characters over the course of the book as the plot progresses. And you've also got the theme, which are the sort of main ideas that you take away from the book. And if we look at your college applications the same way, in other words, like a story, you can see a lot of parallels here. You got the narrative, which looks at how you develop as a person, how you used to be, how you are now, and how you want to be. And the way that you show this development is through the plot, which is the actual stuff in your application. Your grades, your essays, your activities, and so on. And as you bring these different parts of the application together, it creates a sort of mosaic that shows your journey up to that point. These are what you're going to be using to show your growth as a person. And finally, you have your theme, the ideas you want your readers to come away with. In your college applications, this will probably be pretty similar to your narrative, in that your theme shows who you are as an applicant, as a student, as a person. Theme and narrative in this case are very much interconnected. Your narrative shapes your theme, and your theme shapes your narrative. It's kind of like a summarizing sentence that your readers will take away after reading your application, and this is what they'll remember about you, if nothing else. And for the most part, from what I've seen, these personal narratives get at something at a deeper than surface level. So you could have more surface level themes like, I like computer science, or I like biology. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, but a theme centered around one specific thing is kinda limiting in terms of what you'll be talking about. With this kind of theme, all of your essays are gonna start to sound pretty similar if all of them are about why you like biology. Again, nothing wrong with liking biology, but it kinda makes you sound like a one-trick pony, so to speak, if all a reader can take away is that you like biology. Instead, a more nuanced personal theme, in my opinion, would work better because it allows you to draw from a wider range of experiences. This is also the kind of approach that I myself took, or at least attempted to. My theme was more centered around interpersonal communication and relationships, bridging cultural gaps, that kind of thing. So I wrote about my time in Korea and how that changed me, speaking to customers in another language, things I was excited for in college, and I tied all of that with potential majors that I was interested in. You know, I didn't go through high school with the idea of having this theme already in mind, but when it came time to write my applications, I really wanted to package all these different parts about me into, one coherent story, and that became my personal narrative. And so I really think that approaching your application with these ideas of personal theme in mind is a really great way to go about it. You know, not everyone can develop a spike by winning a national competition, but everyone can develop their themes and narratives because it's that individual story, and everyone has some kind of story. You don't have to go out of your way to do stuff for the sake of creating a theme, because it's not so much about what you do than it is how you do it. How you present the different parts of your application to sort of craft this web that culminates in the story of you. So this means that if you're a senior, then you already have everything you need. You have 4+ years of experiences to draw on. You don't go out and do stuff in order to create a theme because you make a theme out of what you've already done. Okay, so we've talked about what a theme is and what makes a good theme, but how specifically do we go about crafting this theme in our applications? You know, there isn't a section on your Common App where they ask you to write out what your theme is in 200 words or less. And of course there isn't going to be a place for that. Whenever you read a book, unless it's a kid's book or maybe a textbook, they don't tell you what the main takeaways are. You have to figure them out on your own. But unfortunately, application readers don't have Socratic seminars where they talk about the hidden meanings in your applications. They don't exactly spend a whole lot of time reading them. They might spend a solid 15 minutes on it, and that's about it. So, you gotta make sure that your theme is presented as clearly and coherently as possible. And to do that, you want to make it so that all the different parts of your application link together in a meaningful way. Because it may be difficult to get your point across in one supplemental essay, but if you're able to bring together your Common App essay, your supplemental essays, your extracurricular activities, and everything else, you'll have a better shot of painting a clear image of who you are. Each piece of your application allows you to take different angles and different approaches that give a lot more insight together than alone. It's like a puzzle. Each part of your application is like a puzzle piece that, when put together in just the right way, reveals a really nice picture, which in this case is your theme or narrative. Big brain analogies. There are 1,000,001 ways of going about this, just like there are 1,000,001 ways to tie a tie. Big brain analogies. I'd say that for my applications, my Common App essay was definitely the center of the web, so to speak, and everything else branched off from there. I did it this way because I applied to so many schools, and the Common App essay was a common thread across all of them, so it made sense for me to start there. So for each application I wrote, I already had an inkling of an idea of the messages I wanted to convey based on the messages I wanted to convey in my Common App essay. That means that for each supplemental essay, I tried to draw on experiences in my life that I could derive meaning from, that I could connect to my Common App essay. So I had all of these supplemental essays, and they were all tied to my Common App essay, like a web. And by doing it in this way, I was able to take a bunch of experiences that could seem random on their own and weave them together in a meaningful way. And this could have worked with essentially any set of experiences I could have written about, because it's all in the execution. So maybe you'll want to center your theme around your Common App essay like I did, but honestly the structure doesn't really matter, because what does matter is that you're able to connect these different pieces together in a coherent way. Another problem you may face while approaching your applications in this way is that You may know what your theme is while your readers may not. This is because you're the one writing your application, so you already know what you're trying to say, but other people may not know what you're trying to say since they're not the ones writing it. There isn't a super simple remedy for this because it'll really depend on your individual application, but one way to check if your themes are clear is by having a third party read it. Maybe a teacher, a parent, a friend, or whoever else. If they can take away the messages that you intend for them to take away, then you're golden. But if not, you may want to continue working on connecting the pieces of your puzzle together. One of the hardest parts of writing my college applications was definitely trying to figure out a way to make everything fit together. But once you do complete that puzzle, you might step back and think to yourself, hey, this is kind of fire. I know that as a senior applying to schools, you may feel like your application is no good. I definitely had thoughts like that myself, and it's hard not to feel that way. But you gotta acknowledge all the hard work you're putting into this. I know this is gonna sound super cheesy, but you gotta believe in yourself. You all have a story to tell, so tell it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.